Hi, I'm Anthony Leckis. Thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm Roz Bellamy. I'm a writer, teacher, activist and editor.
I'm really excited to be talking about you, particularly about your writings. You've just written a book. An extract from the book has been nominated for a prize, the Scribe Nonfiction Prize for Young Writers.
Yeah, so it was nominated and ended up on the shortlist for the prize. And that wasn't this year's prize. It was a previous one, but really exciting to have a publisher like Scribe looking at the book and engaging with it.
What was it in particular about that extract that was nominated?
So it's the first 3 chapters of the book. And that's a good question. I'd love to know that from them, actually. It's very personal. It goes straight into the personal side of queer identity, but also marriage equality debates. And from publishers that have spoken to me about it, like one of the things that they really like is that it's the personal side. So they kind of say, we've read all of the statistics or the journalistic aspects and the research, but to actually just be thrown straight into someone's story and the narrative they really enjoyed. So.
And Roz, is it your personal narrative?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's about my wife and I winning LOTL Magazine's Dream Wedding competition.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. So we happened just by chance to pick up a copy of their magazine. They were giving away a competition. It was closing like that week. And we decided, let's just take the plunge and do this. And we'd talked about marriage for a long time, but we're both kind of too scared for various reasons. And then just went there. So the book kind of explores why we got married, then all of the, strange things involved in a dream wedding. Like, we're super appreciative for it, but also like some aspects of it were quite funny. Like,
so what does a dream wedding look like for queer women?
According to LOTL, it looks like, it included quite a generous voucher for brides of Sydney, wedding gowns, and then that even involved funny conversations there, like what they kind of assumed, is one of you wearing a suit and one a dress? And, there was a little bit of confusion about how we might approach it. Then it included rings, it included the venue, but just not things like the full shebang.
Right.
Yeah.
And the probably one of the most important bits where you sign the actual legal document to declare you both as legally married.
Yeah, so that bit didn't get to happen, did it? And we would have thought by now that would have changed, but no.
So can I ask about the wedding then? Because one of the things about weddings that I find to be the most sort of kind of most heartwarming moment are the speeches, particularly when sort of parents or even sort of the people getting married give their speech. Was there anything in particular about your speech or your partner's speech that was, political? We tend to be very political when we get married or even just walk down the street holding our partner's hands. Was it a political wedding?
It wasn't, actually, so I'm glad you asked that. That's the funny thing about it. In every other aspect of my life, I'm so political that, like, to a fault, whereas with my own wedding, I wasn't. So I suppose in that way I can see where some people are coming from, say heterosexual people who are continuing to get married at the moment. I suppose I can see that you could value the personal over the political in that way. We weren't doing it consciously. We just focused on what we wanted. But there was an element where just by what we were doing, it was political, like the fact that it was a commitment ceremony, but we continued to call it a wedding and a marriage, even though people there knew that it wasn't legally either.
What has that meant for your relationship? Because the postal survey is underway. There's a lot of people even within the queer community and obviously people outside of the queer community who may even be voting no and don't agree with marriage, and they see it as an issue around marriage and not so much queerphobia. Yeah. But in terms of your relationship, what has being married and having that experience meant for your relationship, your bond with your partner?
Really beautiful things, but I don't want to speak about them in a way that devalues people who aren't married, if that makes sense. Because I think we had a wonderful relationship before marrying as well. So I think the main thing it changed was our family's perception of each of us, and particularly to heterosexual people. So both our families and friends, there was that sense of, in their eyes, like, now we are a married couple.
And in a sense, did they take you more seriously as a couple? Yeah. Okay. Because that's unfortunate as well, isn't it? That marriage has
you need to have that. Yeah. And even the other day I was talking to one of my in-laws who was saying, why are you getting so worked up about the postal vote? Every one of us considers you married. And I kind of had to explain, I appreciate that so much, but, there are other things to consider, like hospital, visitations and.
And so all this comes out in the first 3 chapters of the book?
No, it takes a bit further than that. The first 3 is more coming out. So I actually started the book overseas studying with the writer Cheryl Strayed, who wrote the memoir Wild. I don't know if you maybe saw the film or read the book. Yeah. So she was incredible to work with, and she basically found the book for me in all my jottings and was like, this is the book you have to write. And I wrote a very different book to what she suggested, but, you know, I really just feel like so grateful for what she saw in it as well.
How does your partner feel about having her life out in such a public forum?
Great question. Yeah, I should give her a call and find out. No, look, she's really supportive. I think she's nervous about it, as am I, but I'm the one choosing to do it. So I'm just really lucky that she's so open and trusting. And she has said that she trusts me in the way that I represent her and her family. And I have said to her that, I mean, I'm not going to offer this to many people, but she's obviously going to get dibs on what gets cut. So, yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, exactly. So,
what's the take-home message about your writing? Not just this book in particular, but what it is that you want people to, where you want your writing to be landing with people.
So I think as a queer, and I identify as bisexual as well, person, really getting to people to be less narrow-minded and make less judgments about each other. So whether it's about sexuality, gender, race, religion, all of those sorts of oppressions that happen, I think that's where my writing really tries to go. And the book happens to be about queer identity and gender, but, you know, that's my area of activism across the board. I think the main takeaway for it is, yes, we got married, yes, we got treated better by some people afterwards, but here's where the queer community has to go next, and here's why we need support, you know, from the mainstream and heterosexual world just as much.
Sounds really amazing. Sounds very important. Watch this space for the book coming out. Due to come out when?
Next year.
Like in 2018?
2018. Yeah.
Great. So we'll keep an eye out on that. And will you be writing bisexual specific pieces in the future?
Yeah. So don't worry, there's plenty of bisexual content in the book.
Great.
There is in my writing in general. But yeah, I will continue to buy it up in the writing world. So yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye out. Roz, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for
Thanks
coming
so
on
much for having me here.
Yeah,
it was
it's been
great.
really exciting to
Thank
talk to
you.
And all the best with your book.
Thank you very much.
So thank you for watching. I'm Anthony Lakis.